You guys, we are so happy at the Jim and James Morning Podcast.
Why do we call it the morning podcast anyway? It's not in the morning.
Somebody's waking up right now.
Exactly. Somewhere around the world. Thank you, Glenn.
It's morning somewhere.
We have Emmy Award-winning makeup artist, guys. Please, not just once, but twice. Mr. Glen Allen.
Thank you, Glenn.
So excited. Yeah, you worked on like all kinds of stuff, man. Yeah. Angeline on Paramount, Star is Born, The Greatest Showman. You're a celebrity impersonator, member of the elite drag, the drag troupe, the Dreamgirls Review. Am I saying right? Review.
Get it together,
Glenn
Jim.
is the owner of Drag Makeup Academy, where he teaches drag makeup. How about that?
Come on, Pride Month.
Yes, we're here.
Homo in the house.
There you go.
I love it.
Come on.
Great.
So you have 2 Emmys. What were they for?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make a mistake here.
No. The first one was for Days of Our Lives.
Oh, wow.
I worked on that show for about 8 years, and then the second was for The Real, where I worked on that for about 6 years.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
And in between all that, I pop in on different movies and TV shows, etc.
Wow.
Just finished Legendary Season 3, so that's on. Really fun makeup on that show. That's ballroom dancing, voguing. It's the kids from the houses.
Oh, okay.
How cool.
That's a special show because it really is featuring disenfranchised, unwanted youth, people of color that are struggling in their youth.
Right.
Gay, lesbian, trans, and they come together to form a house, is what they call it. So instead of living on the street, they all try to earn a couple bucks and get an apartment together and survive that way.
I think I've heard something
I've heard
about
of that
it. Yeah, it's a
before.
very
So
interesting project. Really
that
nice.
which is what the series Pose is about. Wow. That Ryan Murphy created, and that's why that was such a groundbreaking show. Which was featuring so many people of color and the youth and the struggles in the 80s, but also featuring the trans community.
Interesting.
Which, was underground for so many years. People think, trans people just decided this past 5 years, boys decided to be girls, and that's not true.
No.
That it's been going on for hundreds of years. So it's just the social media, as you know, makes things look new when they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you look at history and you look at pictures in history or paintings, and there's plenty of evidence there that people were, being free with express
Sexuality
through art.
Yeah. And it wasn't that long that men were dressing in drag. George Washington, the Parliament, wigs, makeup, high heels. They were doing that already. Like, it's not new. Drag Race did not invent that.
Well, did you know that I was a part of a RuPaul Celebrity Drag Race?
That's right.
Did you see me back there?
Yes.
They put the boa and the wig and stuff. I tried to do a head banging type thing with it, but I had a blast.
You got to make it your own, is what you do, and that's what
yeah.
the kids do in the drag shows around the world nowadays. You just make it your own. There's no rules. Rules are made to be broken. And I've worked on a RuPaul Drag Race show that has not aired yet. Season.
Okay.
So that's all I can say. But it's a brand new type of show that nobody has seen before. So this is a whole series, a new series that Ru has created.
Ooh, it sounds like it's top secret.
It's going to be great. Yeah. But I digress. So I was going to mention back to the Emmys, only because I've been nominated 12 times. I was nominated again for Legendary Season 2.
Are you the Meryl Streep of the Emmys, or who was it that got nominated so many times? No, the Susan Lucci.
Oh, well, yeah, Susan Lucci. Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, Glenn.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a huge deal.
And to me, that's a huge deal. Again, winning awards is not important necessarily to me. It doesn't make me a more important person. But what it does do is show younger people or people that are coming after me and starting on their journey of whatever their life is. It doesn't need to be makeup for film and TV. It can be whatever their passion is, but that it's attainable.
Right.
And my struggles through life and also recovering from drugs and alcohol are a testament to the success of that. And that's what those Emmys, Emmy
That's
awards
inspiring.
mean.
That's very inspiring.
Yeah, it's interesting the way you see it, and that's great. It's from a different angle, you know.
Yeah,
Love
I
it,
just have to take, as any 12-step program teaches us to do, we have to take the ego out of everything that we do.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't mean we enjoy the blessings of our success any less. It just means that we don't see people smaller than us or beneath us because of the accolades we have,
Right.
or I have.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny that you say it because I'm in a
You didn't think I'd
conservatory.
get so deep so
No,
fast,
no,
did you?
No, that's great.
This
This
guy's
is what-
profound.
that makes for the best episodes.
Yeah.
I'm in this acting conservatory, and there's this class. It's called Character Key, and what they did is they took psychology and they mixed it with an acting technique. And what we're learning is that they have these different groups of personalities and stuff, and if you could play it a certain way, if you look at the script and you can see this is a blue character, blue is very matter of fact, he's very body language, everything, or if it's a red, which a lot of people in the entertainment business,
I'm red,
they're very passionate, they're enthusiastic, they just have different
More of the pie in the
traits.
sky kind of deal.
But he
Right.
always goes back
Yes.
to you have a need and a feeling. And when someone's criticizing or something, and you can ask them a question that let me see if I can guess that this is this need for respect or something, and you're feeling it really diffuses and it really puts it to where it reframes their mind.
Yes.
So I think that's what you're talking about when you talk about the ego. A lot of times, if people could just push the ego aside, it helps in life.
Yes, and pushing ego in a way that I was mentioning, maybe that says I'm more important than other people because I have awards. It's also pushing away that the thought that I might be less than anybody else as well.
Right.
So when I push away my ego to make myself not be more important than someone, at the same time, it makes me not less than someone.
Exactly.
Those two
That's
things
very
are so
good.
important.
So it levels the playing field for everyone to be sort of the
It
same.
levels your idea of the false idea of anybody being on a pedestal above or below. It's just a waste of time, really, to judge people like that. Because then you just make yourself insecure. If you think you're less than someone, then when you approach people that you think are above you, it makes you limited in what you do and say.
Most definitely.
So
100%.
that's part of it. But also, I love the color analogy in the acting class because there are many different kind of variations of the color of your personality is a personality test. And the reason that's important to me is because that's a test where you answer questions, and I used that when I managed a hair salon of 10 hairstylists, and we would take the test and find out our colors. There was red, orange, yellow, green. You could be a combination of two colors.
Right. Yeah, it's very similar.
The reds were those type AA personalities that took initiative and took charge and led the group. The yellows, those are the idea people. They stay quiet, but they have ideas and they create things and they're artists. The greens are the people who want to make sure everybody's doing. The greens are the recyclers. The greens are recyclers. They want to make sure everything is safe, sanitary, especially with the COVID. Make sure everybody has a mask on, like that. The oranges are the caretakers. They want to make sure everybody's feeling okay.
See, it's a little bit different. You're describing everything exactly, except our colors are just different.
Sure,
That's all.
exactly. So the important thing to know why we took that test was we feel sometimes as humans that other people should understand us and why we're doing something. And sometimes if you're an orange, you can't understand why a red does something. Why are they so bossy? They should really tone that shit down. You know, the
we
reds,
pay extra for those sound effects. I don't know if they're going to hear the sirens going by.
see?
Sirens. That's red.
And,
That's red, by the way.
That is red. That's why they pass by. So we judge each other that way.
Sure.
And so if you know you're a specific color, they're a specific color, you can then address them, like you said, accordingly. And understand
really
where they're
helps.
coming from. We just as people, need to understand and put ourselves into other people's shoes. And I think that not just helps the world be in a better place, but selfishly, I want to be in a better place. I want to understand people more so that I can sympathize and empathize and not just raise myself up to a successful situation as a team if I'm working in a team and understanding the other person, but raise everybody up at the same time.
That's what's interesting. What you're saying, Glenn, that everything's a team effort. The way you guys work specifically with the makeup, it's all a team effort. So they all come up together.
Yeah,
and that's fantastic.
And in so many businesses, it is a team.
There's no I in team, right?
There's no I in team. So if God wanted us on this planet by ourselves, He would have put us here by ourselves,
I love that
but He
analogy.
didn't.
I'm going to borrow that.
Well,
That's
so
a good one.
brother.
We need to learn how to work with others, understand
Right.
each other, support each other. And in supporting each other and helping you guys grow and be more successful, then that's what's going to attract people to help me grow.
Yes.
So it's the
comes
golden
full
rule. Treat
circle.
other people how you want to be treated.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's tough in this
You're
town.
learning a lot out there today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
in this town, you got a lot of narcissistic.
Well, in this, are you kidding me? In this town, in this
industry,
world,
in this
it's
world,
a different
yeah.
type
Yeah.
of narcissism, but it's just so prevalent. And again, it's not wrong or right. We are human.
Oh my God,
we're
that's
human
what
beings.
my instructor always says. Don't make it wrong or right.
No wrong
just,
or right.
This is what it is. Don't make
This
it wrong
is
or
what
right.
it is.
Love this, boy.
Yeah.
I feel
There's
like
no judgment. It's just what it is.
Yeah, just if you don't like it, walk away.
now what I do
Don't talk
like.
about it.
What I do like, and your Instagram is
Glen Allen, GlenAlen.
right.
That's the ridiculous, over the top drag club kid mixed with my TV work Instagram, and then there's my business Instagram, Glen Allen Beauty, which it's for agents. You know how agents are really sensitive.
Oh.
They need to see only TV and film work. They just, if you didn't know that, they are.
I see.
You learn something.
Well, what I love is when, if anyone wants to go and look, you can see these upside down faces that you're quite famous for.
Yes, I am.
And tell us.
I like to say infamous, but yes.
Yes. How did that come about? And
So let me take you back to when I was a kid. Do we have 3 hours?
I was
just
gonna ask
did-
you that. Yeah,
I just took up the whole half hour that we did on my childhood.
How many minutes do we have, though?
We have a
we're
good amount of
good.
time. You just take off.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
we're
so
good. You're plenty of
I
time.
grew up in Southern California, in a town called Lakewood, and it's a nice, polite suburb with green grass.
Love it, Lakewood,
always,
yeah.
all year
White
round.
picket fence?
You know what I'm saying? Yes. And so it was nice to grow up that way, but I'm an artist, and so I really, those weren't my people. They weren't creative. They were cookie cutter. You had to do what everybody else was doing, and that wasn't in my soul. So yeah, I was an artist and I was a bullied kid. I happened to be gay too, not just an artist. So there's a couple reasons to be bullied. But I did find my tribe in Hollywood. So I went to Hollywood. I found my artist people, and since it was the '80s, by the way, which is the most awesome decade.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you. But it was where creativity could blossom, and I give credit to MTV for that.
Sure.
It was when we first saw our,
Video killed the
music.
radio star,
Video
right?
killed the radio
Yeah.
star. Whereas we saw the artists like Cyndi Lauper and Grace Jones and Boy George and Duran Duran
Right.
and Adam Ant. It was
Hungry
it
Like
was
the Wolf.
makeup. It was fashion. It was
Yeah.
fun. It was creativity. You weren't like somebody else. If you were, you weren't aired.
You were
You had to be
boring.
different.
Adamant.
So yeah, so
All the good stuff.
that was my influence. And so when I was going to school, I'd wear my eyeliner, and tease my hair and dye my hair blue, and it was just. How could you not? We're free human beings.
Right. Is that
so
what
when
inspired
people
you?
saw me, they said some of the gays, that did some drag. I didn't know they did. So, but they taught me. They're like, "Hey, you want to come do a drag show?" I was like, "Oh, I guess. Why not?" Because I'm open-minded. I'm an artist. So immediately, I saw a drag show back then in high school called The Cosmetics at the Peanuts Nightclub in West Hollywood. And they were celebrity impersonators.
Is it still there?
The club is still there, but the name is not. It's not
Okay.
the same club. But then La Cage aux Folles was down the street, another on La Cienega, I believe. And they had an upscale drag show. Again, celebrity impersonation. So in the 80s, that's what drag was about. It wasn't about looking like a supermodel, so to speak, or just a pretty pretty girl like is kind of the trend these days. It was really a profession, an acting kind of profession. We needed to act like these celebrities, not just look like a female. So I did start doing Pat Benatar and Cyndi Lauper and Berlin, Missing Persons, 80s bands. It was so much fun. So that's where I started.
Metro, yeah.
But at the same time, these clubs also had club kids, and I wanted to do that too. Club kids are, the name really came from the New York club scene. So it's where you kind of put together some hodgepodge, over the top outfit with an over the top makeup, and you were just a canvas for whatever you wanted to create. There was no name for your look. It was just crazy, is what it was.
To Club Arena.
Arena, yes, Arena,
I was
yeah.
known for that, yeah.
And Odyssey was before
Right,
that,
that's right.
a bit, which was really 80s. And so that's where the upside down kind of character came from. That's from my soul. And so I'm a club kid, and we just come up with crazy outfits. And so I was going to a club that night. And so on the way home from the reel, I had to think of a look for that night. And I just thought, okay, in traffic, in LA traffic, I had plenty of time. And I started turning things upside down, like my lips at first. And then the traffic was just never ending. So I thought, oh, what if I turn my eyes upside down too? And then, another 10 minutes in traffic, and my whole face in my mind was upside down. And so when I got home, the mission was, how do I do it? How do I actually make this happen?
It's incredible.
I put it in my mind.
Yeah.
Now how do I do it?
That's so talented, dude.
It's so much fun to be me. Just to let myself be creative
You're
and not
artistic.
limit myself.
And it's something that nobody else, it was yours. You created it.
Yes, which that's kind of what a club kid is. We just come up with our own looks. But that really did kind of go viral. Mm-hmm. And I did the look on James St. James for his Transformations show that was produced by WOW. So that's on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Transformations. And so that was actually 9 years ago. I believe that was 9 years ago when I did that. But I've been hosting clubs as a club kid and performing as a celebrity impersonator between my TV and film jobs. But in between my TV and film too, I also teach drag makeup. Here's the thing. I mentioned I was a salon manager. I hope this is so crazy to be listening to, because it's a lot of information, because I have a lot of life. Yeah. So yeah, I did hair actually right out of high school, because I went to cosmetology during high school. I did hair for 17 years for the Regis Corporation. I was a award-winning stylist, and salon manager, and national educator. So I traveled the nation teaching.
What didn't you do?
Right? So within that, there were so many lessons to learn. But after I left that career, because I loved makeup, after 17 years, I thought, you know what? I have some more life to live, and I've done this. I've done all the job for hair, and I want to learn. I want to learn something else by challenging myself. So I thought I need to now walk away from my hair career and go to my makeup career, whatever that may be. And so I took a couple of people out who worked in film and television, because that's what I was taught in my recovery program. You go to people who do what you want to do and ask them how. And you do what they suggest. And I did, and I pound the pavement. They said, you have to take any job that comes your way, whether it's money or not.
Yeah.
Every job. You have to build your book. You have to learn the set etiquette. You need to have the experience, earn your stripes. Yeah. And so I did. So after hair, I did makeup, and since I had to work for free, I had to turn off my cable television. I couldn't buy any more Starbucks, no new clothes. I went to the food bank to get food, and pounded the pavement.
Good.
And I had 3 emotional breakdowns. It wasn't easy. But you know what? Anything worth having is not easy.
Right.
It's work. And today I've been doing makeup now for film and television for 15 years.
And you're so successful now. Wow.
So I just want to say that journey. Thank you. That journey, though, for people who, again, it's possible. For people who are questioning themselves. It is possible. It is doable. And I have to say, I had faith. My higher power, whatever that means to you, is who I ask every single day for guidance. I need to ask my higher power, which is more peace, a message of peace, a message of love,
Yes.
a message of service, a message of forgiveness. That's my power that I ask, how do you see my day in front of me? How should I behave through this?
Wow.
And if I'm insecure about anything that's going to happen that day, I give that to my higher power.
Right.
And I say, maybe it's a fearful situation, or maybe a person that I'm intimidated by. And I say to my higher power, please show me how you want me to behave in this. So instead of fearful or
Yeah.
insecure, I go in as a student, meaning if I think I'm supposed to know everything or look a certain way when I go into a situation or a job, because I have so much experience or awards,
Yeah.
and I really don't know what they want, I don't go in arrogant. I
Right.
go in as a student and I say, I really don't know what you need here today. Will you tell me?
It's brilliant. I have a question for you, Glenn, regarding, because you had mentioned that the club kids. So a lot of that is fashion. So you're also obviously into fashion. Would you consider yourself a fashion designer of sorts?
Interesting. No, I did. I was accepted to design school, though, fashion design school, right before I went to cosmetology. So I do make my own costumes. My dad was a tailor, so I picked it up from him. And he was always supportive, by the way. Both my parents were always supportive of my art, my drag, my whatever I wanted to do in life.
That's great.
So it's why I'm happy. It's why I'm successful. It's why I can help everybody I work with and help them be a better artist, a better employee. But also in my program, because we also help others who are in a 12-step program, I'm a better sponsor to those people because of my parents' support. So it matters, parents, that you support your kid no matter what, because they really are going to stay in the world, whether you like it or not. And the more supportive you are of them, the better person they're going to be, and the more help they're going to be to the human race.
Yes.
And to you when you get old.
So as
So
club
you
kid
want
goes,
them
as
to-
fashion goes, I feel like club kids are actually anti-fashion. They want to take fashion and destroy it.
Like punk. It's like a punk of sorts. Yeah, you're right.
And that's what made Alexander McQueen
right.
actually so successful. He was the anti-fashion designer.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So, and they are showing his work at LACMA, I think, now.
We gotta go see it.
As a museum. But the other side of fashion was the celebrity impersonation and the drag.
Yeah.
That's a side of fashion too, as well as Club
Yes.
Kid, which is anti-fashion. So I got to dabble in both worlds, which I still do, which is so great because I break rules. I just break rules, and then I follow them, and then I break them, and then I follow them. If you know the rules, and I have to say with teaching makeup, drag makeup specifically, yes, there are no rules. You're free to do what you want, but you need to know color theory, period. To do makeup, to do drag makeup, to do anything that involves color.
Yes.
You don't get to not know those principles. And
Those are the fundamentals.
and call yourself a professional, so to speak.
You would say those are fundamentals
Yeah.
for everybody. Okay.
So yes, those are rules. You need to know them, and then you need to know when to break them and when not to break them. So for drag makeup, the other rules are you need to know anatomy. So I do teach anatomy class before I teach the makeup class because you need to know the reason we're putting highlight and contour on a man's face to look like a woman is because the bone structure underneath is creating a certain type of surface, creating shadows.
That's interesting.
So
Yeah.
if you
Never
just
thought about
copy
it.
the drag queen on Instagram who doesn't understand those principles, then you're just copying mistakes.
There's like a science to all this, huh?
Yes, there is.
Hence the anatomy.
Yeah. Hence the anatomy.
Isn't that a
The-
trip? Anatomy,
yeah.
color theory
I have a
for makeup.
question. I don't want to go off. So if I go off,
Let's go off. Let's go off. Yes,
I
that's
go
what we
off
want.
Track,
That's
just
what
pull me back.
America wants.
Reel me back in. Rope me back in. You know, you deal with makeup so much, and you have great skin. So, what do you recommend for anyone that wears makeup and takes it off to keep their skin nice? Do you have go-to products or?
No, there's no real go-to product. There
No.
really is just basic Cleansing. It's just consistency, really is what it is.
Keeping your face clean.
Consistency, cleansing,
Yeah.
consistency in
Moisturizing.
Yeah. And consistency in drinking water.
Aha.
Those three things. It doesn't have to be a specific product, though. It's just don't use it once a week.
All that's propaganda.
It's like use it
All that's
daily.
propaganda, right? It's to sell their products.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many different ones out there, but the important thing is just
Consistency with anything.
With anything,
And that's
consistency.
exercise too helps the skin. So it's not just moisturizer,
The
right?
sun, vitamin
Consistency with diet,
Wow.
consistency with exercise. It's
Are you
all-
vegan? Are you vegan, Glenn?
No.
Okay.
No, I eat whatever and whoever I want.
You tell.
But it is sensible, of course.
A friend of
You know.
mine who has great skin too, Jeremy Luke, who we've had on, we're going to have him
Yeah.
on again. He drinks like a gallon of
Yeah.
water a day, like purposely just carries the jug around,
Yeah.
makes sure that
Yep.
he puts that away.
It does a number on you, like in a great way. When you drink water and you do it for so long, you see your face and you're like, oh my God, what a difference it makes, you know?
Yeah,
It
I
does.
just
Stay
at
hydrated.
my age, at 40, I just
35, isn't
started
it?
using, a moisturizer after I'd use the face wash in the shower, and then I'd put this face cream on, a little bit of the small one that I got for under here. I'm just starting, but
Been doing
because you
that
see
for
a
a while.
difference. It helps. You gotta fight the clock.
I'm
a little
80
bit.
and I look really good. I've been doing it
Yeah.
forever.
It does. And it helps you feel better about yourself. But also, I feel like if you take care of right, we're getting deep.
Let's do it.
If you
Gut?
take care
Spiritual,
of
gut?
your
Yeah.
outside body,
Yeah.
it's a reflection of how you take care of
Inside.
your inside.
Yeah.
How you feel inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So God gave us this. I use that term loosely, only because it's an easy one-syllable word. Your higher power, power of the universe, your goddess, whatever
Whatever
you
it
want to
might
call
be.
it. The universe gave us this body, this vessel. We only got one.
Right.
We only got one to carry around this awesome soul that we have, this awesome creativity, this awesome potential. So we would behoove us to take care of it.
Absolutely.
So that we can carry our soul around as long as we can and as healthy as we can. And that's, to me, that's why I, ask for positive thoughts before I go into the world, because the way I address myself and people in a positive way will create less sickness
You're
Yeah.
magnetic, man.
in my
His-
body.
His
Well,
personality is
I
so
feel
magnetic.
the same way about stress.
Yeah.
I think it's a killer. Stress is just
It'll
a killer.
kill you, man.
It
Yes.
will wear you down. It will probably, not probably, but make your
Yes.
inner organs, your stomach can get.
And the question
you know,
is, do we have power over the stress? And the answer is yes. We absolutely do. But we have to admit to ourselves why we're choosing to be stressed out. And sometimes it's not like we're doing that on purpose. It's like it's the conditioning of the competition that they're going to beat you if you
Yeah.
don't figure out how they're doing it, how you can do it differently. And it's a competition, and it's all around us. The marketing, you have to be as good as they are, better than they are. You have to have that car, you have to have that watch, you have to have that house, you have to have that job, you have to have that income, you have to be
And
a
you don't
certain
have to.
way.
And you can still be
You
empty
don't, No,
inside,
you
yeah.
don't. Right. It's all competition.
Yeah.
In so many forms.
That's so true.
You know,
So that's
it's-
why I'm so blessed to embrace just the weirdo that I am in a way, that was bullied in high school, just that artist that wanted to play. I just want to play. I want to play with makeup and hair and costumes. Like, leave me alone.
Right.
Why are you beating me up for nothing? Like, I'm not doing anything to you, which is still so weird that bullies beat up people when they're not even doing anything
Right,
to the
they're not
other
bothering
person.
anyone.
You're
Yeah,
not.
I went
It's-
through it
But are
for
you
different
really?
reasons.
Aren't we threatening their existence in their mind somehow, though?
Yes, we are.
So yes, that's kind of, yes, the bully is kind of defending
Right.
what they think they should be. Like,
Well, they don't have that power over you. So they want to have that power over the person. And so all the time to be able to have you under their foot, so to speak, because they want, they don't want you to grow. Because they know you're going to grow, and
Right.
they don't want you to grow.
Absolutely.
So they'll stifle you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting that they feel so trapped?
Exactly.
And that's why I don't mind being gay. It was so exciting to like have that liberating moment in therapy. I recommend therapy, but I was like, it was explained. I was so, oh gosh, I had these labels on me that I needed to break. That I was that I was going to hell. That I was less than.
Yeah.
That all of this stuff, and then it was explained that straight men have labels as well. They have to behave a certain way. They are in a certain box. They cannot be too creative or else somebody will think they're gay or whatever it is, They have to have a wife, a house with a picket fence, a certain Camry car, a certain 2.5 kids, whatever it is, there is a box.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, well, I don't want
Yeah,
that.
that's boring.
I don't want to be straight.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. No, I'll stay gay. Thank you.
So you were talking about how supportive your parents were. What would you say to young people out there that just don't feel that support? They don't have that support. Where could they go, or how would? I mean, I don't know. We're not,
They have support groups now. I mean, a lot online.
That's a good
right?
idea.
Luckily, yes, they do, and especially thank God for social media that way.
They can join
There
groups.
is a lot of support online. There is like Zoom therapy,
There you go.
online Zoom therapy where you could meet with a therapist.
It's fantastic.
And there's the Gay and Lesbian Center. There's certain entities, public health services that you can go online and find. I'm sure you guys can put a list of those.
Yeah, that would be good because
our
we really
podcast,
want to
but-
inspire and we want to reach out. And if one person comes up with an idea and says, "Well, I'm going to go and look up this website," and it changes the trajectory of
Yeah.
how they feel and how
And
their
isn't
life
it great
is going.
too that we have groups in schools? Actually,
Yeah.
I didn't have a group, a gay and lesbian, LGBTQ group in school to support me, and say that I was okay. I was always not okay.
Times have changed quite a bit. Thank goodness.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
And so
And we still have a ways to go.
it's a positive thing about America
Yeah.
It's an ever-evolving deal. Yeah.
that you can be who you want. And I feel like when the majority of the community, of the country, the straight group I really am addressing, when you allow gay, transgender, bi, all those groups to be themselves, you actually get to be yourself as well.
That's
That
right.
box, those boxes I said that still straight men and women have, they don't have to have that box. So if you don't put me in a box, then you get to break your own.
Right.
And you
because
get to
that
even
is
be
your
more
box.
free.
Is that judgmental
Right.
place
Because
that they come from.
it's that story in the Bible of the sword.
Mm-hmm.
If you hold a sword over somebody else's head, it means you're holding one over your own as well. You can't help but judge yourself.
You know
if
what
you
else
judge others.
you said about our body and taking care of it and stuff like that? Warren Buffett says something. He said, now, if you knew when you were a teenager you were going to get one car and it had to last you your whole life, you would change the oil, you would, I don't know if they have spark plugs anymore, but you would polish it, you would be careful with it, but we don't look at our body like that. Like we get one body,
Good. Yeah.
we get one shot at this to take care of it and keep it
Well,
intact.
And speaking of advice, what advice would you give makeup artists starting out, and as well as
You look like you're reading a script there, Jimmy.
these drag queens also?
I think it's starting out as a makeup artist is be teachable. Don't feel like you have to go into a job acting like you know everything. I think that's for many careers. Stay teachable. Stay a student. Because if you feel like you have to prove something and act like you know all the answers, then you're going to limit yourself in growing for the rest of your life. It's not just that day and that job. It's the rest of your life you're training yourself for.
Wow.
To not be teachable. So be teachable from the beginning. If you don't know something, ask.
Be receptive,
Ask. Also, don't be afraid to make mistakes, especially makeup artists. Like, first of all, practice on your friends, your family. Make a mistake. You can wipe it off and do
not
it
the
again.
dog or cat.
But not that, well, if you want an extra challenge, hey, make up that dog or cat. But it's about making mistakes. People, humans, don't like to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so when you do, and you make it a mistake 3 times, you're like, see, this is never going to work. No,
We're hard on ourselves,
sometimes you need to make the mistake 20 times.
Yeah.
Please, but don't give up. If you have a passion in your heart and you're something new that you're learning, make mistakes. Keep making mistakes and then correct them again and ask somebody else who's gone before you, how do I correct this? How do you correct this? There's different ways to correct mistakes, whatever
love
that is
that.
in your life. But about makeup, yes, and that's part of my process. When I'm teaching one-on-one and they make a mistake, believe me, everybody gets frustrated in my chair at themselves when they make a mistake. I'm like, no, that is so exciting. I'm so glad you did that because I get to show you how to fix it now.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's
If you
not
didn't
like,
make a mistake-
just show me how to do this. It's nice to try it and then say, oh, can you show me how to correct my mistake? Because you're going to make more mistakes. And then if
Yes.
you start learning how to correct on your own, maybe.
It's like Edison, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
times
I was
did
going to
he
bring
flip
that up,
100?
but that was the obvious thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I did, the light bulb.
The light
Yeah.
bulb
He
thing,
didn't
yeah.
look at it like he failed thousands of times. He looked at it like each way
Yeah.
was another way he found that didn't work.
Didn't work, so,
it was
yeah.
one step closer to the way that was going to work. I screwed
Yes.
that up, but you guys
No,
get the
no,
idea.
No, it's okay. Glenn is here to correct you.
Yes.
It's the whole thing about life. It's like make a mistake. You make a mistake anywhere in anything that you do.
great.
Don't look at that as a negative.
Right.
Look at that as a lesson.
It's a teachable moment.
Yeah.
You are a bigger person because you just learned something.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
So true.
So let's talk just a little bit about Pride Month. Tell us what's going on around. I mean, because I've been
right?
seeing
the
stuff
fact that
everywhere.
there is a Pride Month. That rocks.
that
Come on.
right there. Right
Thank
there.
you, inclusion.
Yeah.
Right?
But I see so many celebrations this year, and I think it's because with the pandemic, things were shut down, and the parade. It was the first year back, and
Yeah.
I really am enjoying seeing there's festivals. It's like, hey, if you want to find some people that know how to party and know how to go all month, yeah, I have some friends, and
Yes.
I've been watching their Instagrams and stuff, and it's really a great time.
Well, here's
to
the
celebrate.
thing. I think gays celebrate life more because it's been taken away from us for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean this generation. I mean the generations that came before us. This generation still has that history that, you know, the only option was to stay underground and unseen and know that your eventuality at the end of your life, you were going to hell, period. That's all.
Get
That's
arrested.
all that was.
I mean,
And this was in the 70s.
Wasn't that
This
long
was
ago.
not a lot long ago. I mean, and in the medical
yeah.
text for mental health, gay was still a
sickness.
sickness.
Or
And
remember,
that just-
remember the movie Psycho?
It was a mental illness until
what-
1973.
They thought,
Well, that was changed. Yeah, what'd you say? 73.
about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, recently it's just
So
ludicrous to
it's
think. though.
so great, and that's why this generation doesn't understand. They just think it's always been so rainbows and marching in the street and having parties.
Right.
But no, we came from a struggle, and that's
Yeah.
why we are so happy to celebrate, is because we are so happy to be free, to be ourselves, and to also have that less stigma in this society, which saves lives, because people, and it does still happen that people take their lives
Yeah.
once they realize they're gay, and
Wow.
that's a loss that does not need to occur.
Even in today's.
Oh, yes.
Really? With
Oh,
all
yeah.
the support and everything?
Yeah,
Why is it? Because
we're supportive in LA. In the Middle America,
Okay.
no,
Right,
no,
right.
no,
Yeah,
you better
oh,
not.
yeah.
And depending on the religion of the family and that kind of scenario, yeah, it's still
Yeah,
it's still
pretty rough for some people.
life-threatening. But I'm just saying, not as much. Now we have Ellen all over the all over the TV. Well, not anymore. Her shit's canceled. But we had her, and we have RuPaul Drag Race, and we have so many examples of freedom and of strength and of courage and of perseverance in the gay community. And like I said, it affects the straight community. I'm sorry, but if we're happier, you're going to be happier because we're going to decorate your house better.
Speaking of RuPaul, I just love RuPaul. He's so nice. He came off stage from winning an award and went out of his way to walk over and put his hand on my shoulder and say, "Hey, James, how you doing?" He's just really nice. Every time I've met him, he's just been great. And I remember when I was really young, seeing him on television. I think maybe it was
80s.
Arsenio Hall or something, or he was on talk shows. And the grief he got, it's a long journey to get to where he is.
Been a long way for him.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, I saw him back in the 80s dancing on the pedestal in New York with all the rest of the club kids. And at that time, Suzanne Barsh, who was a great club promoter and supporter of the LGBTQ family and the artist family and the club kids, she's still throwing parties in New York today. That's kind of where he started and was discovered. But through all of that was, his own. People don't see him struggling. He struggled.
Mm-hmm. No, I remember.
He struggled.
And he was very brave in coming, and defending himself and staying true to who he was and who he knew he was going to be and who he wanted to be, and never, letting any of that criticism, not even a chink in his armor,
And yes. We are both supportive of each other. We have been in the same clubs and the same shows, and I know he's very supportive of me, even though I have not been on his TV show as a fabulous drag queen. He has so many fabulous. We are still the same generation. We have the same source of gratitude, and I know he puts gratitude first in his life, and why he's so supportive of other people, and he wants to raise other performers, drag queens, not just that label drag queen, but they are human beings. He wants to lift up these creative, vibrant.
He was, to me, the first. He paved the way. The only drag queen that I remember becoming so popular and so famous, and it probably, you can only imagine how many people were inspired to, well, if he could do it, I can be who I want to be.
Every type of person around the globe.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. He is a symbol of freedom, of being who you want to be and do what you want to do in life, and don't be limited by other people's
Which is an example
rules.
for all walks of life.
Exactly.
What I like is that there's the obvious, for the impersonating, Bette Midler, Judy Garland, and stuff like
Madonna,
that. You do
Cher.
Madonna, but Pat Benatar.
Right,
That
as
is so
a
cool.
celebrity impersonator. The thing is not just learning how to put on makeup, but how to change my bone structure into somebody else's bone structure. That's been so interesting and so challenging for me as an artist. And so I'm adding characters again and again. So I do Bette Midler and Cher and Cyndi Lauper, Bjork, Annie Lennox, Amy Winehouse. I have 50 characters that I do. But I would also say, as an actor, it is understanding the energy of the person and the mannerisms. I have to watch how they move their hands. I have to watch how wide their lips open and close when they sing a lyric. I have to notice how high their eyes look or low, or when they blink while they're singing a line. I have to know how fast or slow they turn their head during that song.
Where their placement is when they speak or talk, sing.
Every single mannerism. How fast do they walk or dance, or so on and so forth.
A lot of logistics to that.
So there's a lot of studying. And what I also recommend to other, like drag queens, is to do this in your living room and record yourself. Mm-hmm. Watch yourself. Don't just go to a club and perform and think you're actually delivering what you think you're delivering, because you're not. Once you see yourself, you're going to be like, oh, I don't even know those words right there. or my hands are, the common mistake is just doing this, which is using both of your hands when you talk or gesture when you're performing.
I
And
do
they're-
that with
they're
my
all
acting
equal.
sometimes. Yeah.
You're this, and this. And that is very robotic. And so really it's trying to keep both hands not so in sync with each other. Like do something else, make them opposites. It's more interesting than this.
Yeah, my buddy does self-tapes for actors over at Onset Studios, and I can't say the name of the show, but it's a big show that I went for, and I got a call back, but it was funny because I was doing this whole thing, and he goes, James, you're not allowed to use your hands. Your hands are going to stay down. I go, okay, all right, I get you. You're right. It's a habit. He goes, if you want to use, you can use it one time. But pick a moment when you're going to use it. But that's it. One time. That's it. And, you think as an actor you would know that. But sometimes you get caught up. It's just a short little audition. You're not in doing the whole scene or anything. You're not rehearsing it with someone all that much. So when you go to do the tape, you want to give it everything, and you give it a little too much.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it was fun, though.
And along those lines, if I'm impersonating someone, sometimes I get to meet the real person. So
That's so cool.
You were mentioning, like one of my first people was Pat Benatar, so she's a client of mine today.
Nice.
I first did her maybe 10 years ago, and I was like I wasn't sure whether to tell her that I impersonate her or not, and whether she might like that or not. But I did. I told her. I said, "Well, Pat, I just want to let you know that you're one of my favorite people to impersonate."
Very cool.
And she was like, she lit up and she's like, "Oh, really?" So she was happy. She said, "Show me a picture," and I showed her, and I do look like her.
Heartbreaker, huh?
And so
it's
yes,
funny,
heartbreaker,
it's,
dream maker, love taker. Don't you mess around with me. But yeah, she's rocking and rolling. Her husband,
And Spider
with her
is
husband
the
Spider.
best. Yeah.
They've been playing for over 40 years now. They just got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow.
But I am so blessed to work with legends like Rita Moreno and Lisa Gibbons,
Rita Moreno.
Yeah.
Carol Channing. Really, like those aren't the young pop stars. And I don't mind that I don't do young pop stars. I really care that I do legends that have been there, done that.
Yeah.
And so when they're happy with my work and me, it's because they've been through them all. And so it matters a lot that they approve of my work rather than, some of
It'd
the
be
younger
like an
generation.
actor playing a real person, and then somebody's going to play De Niro or somebody, and then they say, "Yeah, good job."
Yes.
So this isn't fair to ask, because you just mentioned you do probably more than 50, impersonation, whatever, celebrities we might be talking about. To ask you if you have a favorite or a couple of favorites, it probably isn't
That
fair
I
to ask.
impersonate?
Yes.
Well, Bette Midler's my favorite.
Oh, okay. Well, you do have one that
Yeah.
stands out for you.
Oh,
that you love.
absolutely. And I have America's asking. I have not met her yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
You hear that, Beth?
Please
We would like to
let her
come
know.
on the
Write her.
podcast.
Let her know Glen Allen wants to meet her. But yeah, she's my favorite. And her characters and she's spanned decades and decades of her career, and she's been there, done that. And to embody her means I really have to pull out from all of my pain and all of my joy. She's one of those people who, when she's on stage, she shares her complete soul. She's not just performing a pop song because it's popular. She's performing her life story.
Wow.
And she's sharing feelings and emotions and her journey. And so that I'm not just performing a pop song when I'm performing her, I'm performing my life and what I've been through. It's more of an
Interesting.
emotional storytelling
Yeah.
with music behind it.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
I see what you're
And
saying.
I think people
yeah.
care. They resonates with them when they
I
see
love
that performance.
And it embodies in this movie that was one of my favorites that she was in was Beaches,
Oh yes,
because it takes you on that journey, and because we're a friend and everything, you see her bare her soul,
Well, and we can't forget rock and roll, the Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Honey, that's where she
That's-
first bared it.
You know what?
Right
you know
there.
who I was impressed with was what was the name of that movie that Tom Cruise played the rock and roll guy, and who was
What?
Who was it was a
Really?
musical.
Are
It
you
was a musical. Yeah, and he had
Tom
the long
Cruise?
hair, and he actually sang the songs. Tom Cruise.
Can somebody
and,
out there Google that?
Was it Annette Bening was in it too? No, not. Who was it
No,
that
not
played the
Bening.
female?
I know
oh,
Val
gosh.
Kilmer did.
We're all out of time. Oh my God.
Val Kilmer did The Doors.
You
Jim
guys are gonna
Morrison.
go. Oh my God! That yes.
So I just want to, because you're telling me, I want
Yeah.
to give John.
Oh, yeah.
Val Kilmer his credit for doing a great job.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
What is it? Rock
Thank
of
you.
Ages.
Rock of Ages. Our engineer Nate came
Did
through.
anybody see that?
Oh, it was
I
so
didn't see
good.
it.
Did you
Was
like
it?
it? I didn't see it. I loved
I haven't
Okay.
seen it. We're gonna watch it.
I loved
Really?
it.
James,
Yeah.
apparently you're the only one who saw it.
I
so
know.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
know.
I'm not sure how
Well,
great that was.
I don't know how well it did in the box office, but I recommend it. So I loved it.
We have the great Glen Allen.
Yeah.
You guys.
Can you believe the
Thank
time
you,
went
man.
by so fast?
Too fast.
You
Thanks
were
for swinging
great.
by. Yeah.
Thank you. That was. You
You gonna
guys
come
are
back and
fun.
see us again?
Thank you.
Like they
of
say on the
course.
big shows?
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
subscribe
course.
to our-
There's
to our
much,
podcast.
much more to chat about. Please subscribe.
All right.
Jim and Jim
cool.
Morning Podcast. Thanks, guys. We really
right.
appreciate it. Thank you, Glenn.
All right, we'll
Thank
see you
you.
when we
Thank
see
you
you.
out there. Peace.